And starting a TCG business, you are going to make glaring mistakes. At least I know I have. So if I was restarting or starting a brand new TCG business from scratch, here are 3 things that I would do my best to avoid. The first one cost me a fair bit of money. The second one, potentially it cost me my safety. And the third one nearly cost me my sanity. We're gonna talk about those 3 things today, but first, my name's Coda. I own Coda's Collectibles, and I'm restarting my TCG business after taking some time off for work, and it has been a lot of learning. When I first started back in late 2024, I did some research. I definitely watched a lot of things and tried to figure out what was going on, but I made so many mistakes, and if it ever looks like I'm talking from a position of, oh, I know everything, just listen to me, I'm not. I'm a dummy. I'm just a dummy that's made his own dumb mistakes, is hoping to tell you guys what those dumb mistakes were so that you can be smart and do the smart things and not look like a dummy like me. If that kind of content interests you, please make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff. We're working towards 500 subscribers, which is pretty cool. And I really love the community we built. It's been a lot of fun. So let's jump into it. The first thing is not doing your due diligence and potentially losing money from that. There are a bunch of different things you can be doing in this space. You can be looking at collections and focusing on singles. You can be looking at grading. You can be looking at sealed. But if you don't do your due diligence, you don't do your research, it could potentially cost you money. I know it cost me money. You see, first starting out, I thought I did enough research. I did some research for sure, especially towards grading. I felt like grading was a great play for me. There are a lot of singles that I thought were pretty cheap. And this was when PSA was a much quicker turnaround time and quite a bit cheaper. So I'm just gonna send in 20 cards. I had someone that I knew that had a PSA account. So I was like, hey, can I do a submission through you? And they said, sure. So I was like, cool. And I sent in a fair bit of like decent cards. And I was pretty excited about them because from the limited research I had done, I thought, cool, I definitely have 10s on my hand. I'm gonna hit up a 60, 70, 80% 10 rate. I'm gonna make money. It's gonna be great. But the problem was I had done relatively limited research and I hadn't really reached out to anyone to get help in learning how to grade and pre-grade. And I got wrecked on that return. I think I ended up with like 6 or 7 10s of the bunch. And those are not the cards I wanted to hit 10s on. They were like the filler cards for the most part. So I did not do well on that one at all. As a fledgling starting business, that was a pretty brutal gut punch. And I kept a couple of those 9s around because I wanted to be able to see them and see why they didn't do well and learn from it. And the same thing can happen in sealed. If you're getting into sealed, especially Japanese sealed, you have to do your due diligence on the person you're buying from. You want to make sure that it's someone that you can trust, that is going to get you the stuff you need when you need it, on time, at a good price, not going to scam you, not going to have exorbitant rates. You can shop around a bit, figure out who other people are using, talk to people. Even with collection buys, if you buy a collection, you need to make sure that you are looking through some of those higher hit cards in there and make sure the quality and the conditioning and just making sure the cards are legit. I had an early buy on a very small collection. This was a $70, $80 collection of a few singles. And it was definitely like a low rate. Like the person was just trying to get rid of it. They didn't care. And I did not look through the cards properly. And in the end, I realized afterwards, there were a couple of the cards that were definitely fakes. This was a very early buy. And again, one of those things that I definitely needed to know, and I should have known ahead of time, but being brand new and being maybe a touch overconfident, I definitely got hosed on that one. It was pretty frustrating, but I learned from it. Now, whenever I do collection buys, I do go through the cards, especially those top hit cards, and make sure everything looks legit, everything looks good, and that there are no issues. Because while I didn't get too burned on that one, losing $20, $30 worth of the collection because it was fake, wasn't great. Again, when you're a fledgling business, you're a little fragile, but it definitely was a learning experience. I'm glad I learned at that rate versus a $300 collection. So make sure you are doing your due diligence, and it is going to save you time and money for sure, and frustration. The second is a very pragmatic mistake, and this is going to apply to people that don't necessarily think it applies to them. If you've been keeping up with Pokemon news, you have seen where Pokédean, who is an owner of Collector's Card House in the UK, was robbed. His home was broken into and robbed. And Pokédean does a lot of content, so a lot of content creators now are kind of looking back at their shelves full of stuff and thinking, oh, well, if anyone ever figured out what my address is, I don't want them to know what I have, and I don't want to be targeted by something like this, so I need to take this stuff down. Pokeannie just put out a video about this. I know other people have as well. And even if you're not making content, if you're selling stuff out of your home, out of your apartment, whatever, sending that stuff out and having the return address be connected back to you is a potentially dangerous thing, because if people see that you have a shop, even if it's a smaller shop, they may think, well, they have Pokemon cards. I want to go, pay them a visit. So getting a PO box or UPS box or some outside third-party mailbox system is going to definitely, at the very least, make you feel safer, because you don't want people to be able to connect your address to you. When I first started, I actually used my office address as the return address for my packages. One day I had an order go out and I looked at it and I realized, oh my gosh, this person's 5 minutes away from me. If they were a bad actor or just someone that was curious and was like, did another order and wanted to just pick it up for me, and they're like, well, I know who they are, I'll just go see if I can pick it up. You know, maybe well-meaning, maybe not well-meaning. That is something I don't want people to be able to do. I don't want the nicest person to have the potential of knowing where I live. So thankfully, pretty dang early on, I did go and get a post office box to have my stuff get shipped to and ship out of. It makes me feel a lot safer. You know, there's a lot more security there, and it's not connected directly to my home, which is really important to me. So again, this is a very pragmatic thing, and you may think, well, I don't make content. I don't need to do that, right? Like it's not a big deal. Even if you're just sending out orders, once you get big enough, once you scale your business, because that's what you're here for, you trying to grow your Pokemon card or TCG business, people are going to realize that they can find your address. And I hope not. Obviously, this is not like oh, watch out, something's going to get you, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where that could potentially happen. So once you're able to, I would very heavily consider getting some kind of third-party mailbox system, USPS, UPS, whatever else is out there, to have some extra level of security. So we've had the two like more tangible, like actionable items. The third mistake was just trying to be okay at every aspect of TCG business and not really trying to get good at one or two. When I started in 2024, I was like, I'm gonna get collections, I'm gonna grade, I wanna get into Japanese sealed, I wanna make content, I wanna make social media posts, I wanna do everything. And I am a videographer and editor by trade, so I felt like, well, two of those I'm already good at, so I can just get all of it done. I can do everything at the same time. I can learn all these other things while I'm making the business. It's gonna be easy money. It wasn't at all. It was miserable because I felt like I was falling behind on every aspect of what I was trying to do. And in the end, I just felt overwhelmed. I felt like I wasn't succeeding enough in anything. Therefore, I felt the need to step away from all of it. And because of work, it was necessary for me to step away. But even if work hadn't become such a big part of the reason, I was getting closer and closer because I was burning out. I was so frustrated with the fact that my collections, I wasn't getting enough collections because I wasn't having time to really investigate and search for them. And grading was going fine. That wasn't the issue, but also I just felt so far from being ready to get sealed and to build a website that I was trying to learn some of it, but also trying to keep up with all these other things and keep up with a steady upload schedule and try to post social media stuff. It was untenable at that point. If I were you, if I were new to the game or restarting your TCG business, pick like two things and get really good at them. Train those skills, because if you can train those skills, once you're really good at two things, you can add a third that you're learning a lot smoother, because the other two things, they already have their systems. They're set. You don't have to worry about those as much. Grading and content are the things that I feel very comfortable with. I feel like I can do those, keep a steady rhythm, and not be too concerned with it. Collections are something that I'm still chasing. Bulk, I'm still chasing. I'm still doing those things. I'm not as good at them because not necessarily of a skill issue, but just the lack of access right now. My area has been very dry, if you will, for a while. And I'm not touching sealed yet. I really want to. I really want to grab some like of the sets that I really am excited about, like Mega Dream. I think Mega Dream is way underrated, and I really want to grab some of that. But at this point, I'm like, focus on your things. You got your two good things, and you're still developing the skill in one of them. Just train that. Just really get good at that. Make your systems work around that. Once you set up your core pillars of your business, especially if you're starting out small, like most of you probably are, like I am and was, that'll give you the ability to have a solid foundation to build off of versus trying to quickly lay down some like flimsy foundation of just good enough and then trying to build on that, because inevitably that will be exposed and you will get frustrated. And that may lead to burnout. I know it did for me. And then all that money you've invested, all that time you've invested just goes to waste. It becomes wasted money, wasted time, wasted effort, because you just got overwhelmed. I got overwhelmed and stepped away, and all this stuff, all my supplies, everything that's been sitting here for the last 10 months, if I hadn't come back to it, would have been wasted. And that's why going forward, you're gonna see a lot more videos from me about the systems that I developed and the mistakes that led to them, or simply things that I'm learning in the day, in that moment. That kind of stuff is really important. I think other people hopefully will be able to benefit from it, because if I'm thinking about it and I'm facing it and I'm dealing with it, other people are also dealing with it. So that's the kind of content I'm gonna be putting out, as well as these kind of overarching business ideas. So hopefully you guys enjoy that kind of content. If you do, please make sure you're subscribed and all that. I'm also gonna be doing some business updates as we go along, because I really feel like I want to show how the business is doing and discuss the things that I've done well, the things I've done not so well and I'm learning from. And hopefully that's also beneficial to you guys, because I think if I'm going to talk about this stuff, I would really like to show you what I'm doing actionably, so that it is clear that I'm walking the walk of what I'm saying as well. This last week, I actually picked up a small collection and sold a bunch of it already. So thank you guys if anyone has ordered from me. Again, if you want to shop from my shop, link is in the description below. I would greatly appreciate it. I have a few more cards left from that collection. I have a couple of cards I need to put up. I also have some submissions to the various grading companies. Currently PSA has a new one going out. Tag and CGC all have submissions that are going out to them soon. So I've been extremely busy this week, and I'm really excited about that. I think grading is still one of my favorite plays right now, and it's something that I feel good at. I feel like I'm decent at it, at least. So hopefully that will go well. But for now, I need to get to work. It's early in the morning. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.